Serpent of the Pass, okay. And Serpent of the Pass. Last card. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so with that, we just barely scraped by. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, we did it. Sure, opponent, you can play it again, but they're flying anyway above you. The skies are clear, and we take the victory. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the hottest in budget deck technology. And for today's deck tech, we will of course continue our deep dive into the Avatar The Last Airbender set here on Arena. And of course we'll be going with the second winner from our last poll, which is going to be Airbending. And we are looking to be as annoying as possible.
I don't know why, but I thought you'd be better than Zuko.
That's right. So without further ado, join me today in the standard format for a mono-white deck that is looking to out-tempo our opponent and be very annoying with Airbending. Longtime viewers of the channel know how we do it. We have to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So our annoying Airbending deck is going to be all mono-white. You're looking at an average mana curve about 2.0, and we'll be rocking a very simple 26 creatures in the deck, 14 instants, and 20 lands. As the name implies, our mono-white Airbending deck is looking to be as annoying as possible. We're going to try to use a couple of cheap creatures to bounce away some of our other cheap creatures till we can pump them up, we can start doing some early game damage, and if our opponent thinks they can get the upper hand on us, we'll use the Airbending mechanic to bounce away their creatures and their spells, forcing them to have to recast them at a later point. We even have a couple of creatures in the deck that will punish opponents if they try to recast things from exile by taxing them. Once the coast is clear, we will be able to keep flashing in more and more threats, and we can use a couple of spells that will both protect and pump our team to score our victory in the air. Now that you have a basic idea of what the deck is trying to do, now let's cover the deck in depth, starting with the creatures in our deck with Healer's Hawk, Momo Friendly Flyer, and Momo Playful Pet. With Healer's Hawk here, just has flying, it has lifelink, just good for stabilizing of course, and keeping our life total high. Friendly Flyer here is our attack lemur because the first non-lemur creature spell we control with flying will be one less to cast. And also anytime another flyer we control enters, this Momo will get +1/+1 until end of turn. However, our Playful Pet here is going to be our defensive lemur. So this one has flying and it has vigilance, so it can of course protect us on the backswing. However, when this Momo leaves the battlefield, we can either choose to make a food token, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control, or we get to scry 2. In order to get that value out of Playful Pet specifically though, we'll be utilizing here Nurturing Pixie and Sun Pearl Kirin. If you played Standard in a lot, these should be pretty familiar to anybody. But just as a reminder, Nurturing Pixie, when it enters, you can bounce back a non-fairy, non-land permanent, and if you do, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on this Pixie. Sun Pearl Kirin more or less does the same thing, but at a faster rate and also a little bit more expensive. For 2 mana, he has flash and he has flying, and you just bounce back a non-land permanent to your hand, and if it was a token, we can also draw a card. As far as our disruption and messing with our opponent's game plan here, we'll be utilizing a little bit of fast and slow tempo. With Even Interrupter here, it has flash and it has flying, and this bird rogue, when it enters, you can exile a target spell, and that spell will become plotted. Spells your opponent will cast from your graveyards or from exile will also cost them 2 more to cast. So again, a great way especially for stopping counter spells, and it basically renders them useless. Aang the Last Airbender here, the star of our show here, when he enters, you can airbend up to 1 target non-land permanent. If you have forgotten, as a reminder, non-land permanents that get airbended just mean that they have to pay the cost of 2 rather than paying their mana cost in order to recast them. Combining this with Even Interrupter means that we'll force our opponent to have to pay 4 in order to get their spell back. But if it all else fails, we also will be utilizing our other friendly flyer in the sky that helps out the gang, Appa Steadfast Guardian, and he's actually a really powerful card. So let's talk about him for just a moment. Appa Steadfast Guardian here is a 4 mana 3/4 Bison ally, and he has flash and he has flying. When Appa enters, airbend any number of other Ton land permanents you control. Anytime you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. So he can help you of course save your board state from a wrath, and then allows you to redeploy while also providing again ally creature tokens as you keep recasting all of your spells. But we're not done yet with Airbending. We do have a couple more cards that can help us out with that, along with some general pump and protection for our deck. We'll utilize here one of the instant lessons here, enter the avatar state. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes an avatar in addition to its other types and will gain flying, first strike, lifelink, and hexproof. So great for protection, great for, again, offensive threats. You basically can do a lot with just a single white mana on this. Also at instant speed, we'll be utilizing Airbender's Reversal. You can either use this to blow away a target attacking creature or literally airbend a creature we control. By airbending a creature we control, we can prevent it from getting blown up and messing with our opponent here, and it allows us to recast the card for 2 mana later on in the game. Also, our other remaining airbending option will be Airbending Lesson. You just airbend a non-land permanent and then simply draw a card. Again, as a friendly reminder, this, along with Avid Interrupter, can be a great way to mess with your opponent and force them to pay a lot more for certain spells. And then finally, once we get to the near end point of the game and we need to finish off our opponent, we'll be utilizing here Duty Beyond Death. You do have to sacrifice a creature to utilize this, but this gives all of your creatures indestructible until end of turn, and you get a pump by putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Now moving on to your mana base here, again we are a budget deck, so we're going to keep it as simple as can be for our mono white deck. We'll be utilizing 18 planes, and we'll throw in 2 copies of Abandoned Air Temple. Of course, when this enters, it'll enter tapped unless we control a basic land. However, besides tapping for white mana, this also has a really sweet ability. For 4 mana and tapping this, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. And keep in mind, what makes this nice is, it is expensive, but you can do this at instant speed. If you're the kind of person that likes to play best of 3, here's what I would recommend for you for your sideboard. If you do need more protection generally for the deck, we can utilize here Restoration Magic, which is great because it will scale up as the game progresses. If you want to spend more, this will help you protect more permanents. If you do end up in matchups where you get blown up a ton, you can utilize here Dewdrop Cure. Bring back 2 target creature cards, each with a mana value of 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, or if you're willing to gift a card to an opponent, you can bring back 3 creatures as opposed to 2. If we have moments where we are going to have the game drag out a little bit in the sky, we can utilize here Exemplar of Light to break through the stalemates. Anytime you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Anytime you do get a +1/+1 counter on a creature, you can simply draw a card. Granted, you can only do this, of course, once each turn. For Artifact and Enchantment Hate, we have Requisition Rate, but also you can use this to pump up your team with +1/+1 counters. For spot removal, and if you want to be a bit more aggro, you can utilize here Case of the Gateway Express, ping away 1 opponent, and once you swing with 3 creatures, solve the case, giving all of your creatures an extra +1/+0 pump. And then finally, we have Sheltered by Ghosts as your basic catch-all removal against pretty much anything out there in the format. It really is, of course, the best spot removal currently in Standard in White. And now that we've completed the whole deck tech in-depth, let's now get to the more exciting part of this video. Let's go ahead, let's take this deck into the Standard format and let's play some Ranked, and let's see how well this deck can do. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content. You can support me monthly for a small amount on Patreon, where I have all of my extended bonus footage posted. We also have a Redbubble spot where you can buy merch like stickers and shirts, or for free, all you can just do also is just join our growing community on Discord. Your support helps keep this channel going. All links are in the details below. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we annoy our opponent with some airbending and bouncing shenanigans? Well, 2 lands in hand, we have some 1-drops, we have Sun Pearls to bounce things back, and an Airbending Lesson to airbend stuff away. Maybe this might work? We shall see. Okay, so we did get Avid Interrupter, which is nice. Momo Playful Pet for now is good. Okay, Grand. Okay, looks like our opponent might be a Lessons deck. That's kind of cute. We'll swing here with our Momo Playful Pet. Use Nurturing Pixie. Bouncing away Momo. We will get, let's see. You know what? We'll put some counters on it. And we'll play Momo again. So we have a nice little flying 3/3. Opponent has Boomerang Basics. Okay. Fine. I guess our opponent's also going to try to start bouncing stuff back and forth, so be it. Okay, they threw away a land. No blocks, of course. Not a huge deal for us. We can always redeploy. We swing. Alright, down to 18. Okay, opponents. Swing with Grand. Huh, who would have thought, actually, of all creatures, we're going to be taken down by Grand here. Opponents, down to 18. Multiversal Passage, and they actually shock themselves. Does that mean they have something in hand they have to use? Stock up. Okay. Let us Aven Interrupter that. We'll lock him out for a bit. And we will Airbend away Grand now. Alright, nice. Okay, so that means Grand is not going to cost 4 mana, which is hilarious, by the way. For this, Nurturing Pixie. Bounce back Momo for now. Alright, we will get some counters. Let us make... Actually put more counters on the Pixie. So we have actually 5 damage in the air, which is pretty good. Combustion Technique. Okay, unfortunate. That's okay, though. They still have to spend for Grand here, too. Stock Up is now free, but at least we stalled him out for a turn. Okay. Anything else, opponent? Nothing. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, so we did get Aang as well. So first off, we'll play Playful Pet Momo. We will play... actually, we'll wait it out here. Down to 10. Or actually... No, we'll actually play Healer's Hawk now. Pass. Okay, so Grand is pumped up a little bit here, but we can use her still. Accumulate Wisdom, okay. So now they are going to see if they can try to pull away. However, they do have to spend quite a chunk here in order to do so. Okay, Dragonfly Swarm. Scary, but not the worst. Okay, opponents. Grand. We will take out Grand. Okay, nice. Okay, so no damage gets through, and that buys us time. Okay, Momo Friendly Flyer. So let's see. How do we want to do this? I think we're just gonna... Oh, Edinburgh Crab. Okay. I would have thought this crab actually would have been super annoying against us. Okay. Sun Pearl Kirin. Bouncing away the Nurturing Pixie. Sun Pearl Kirin number 2. Bouncing away Momo here. But we will put a counter on top of one of the Kirins. Okay. So if our opponent wants to crab it up, so be it. But they will lose their creature in the process. Oh, they are swinging. Okay. Well, Swarm here. We go to 13. They'll draw a card from their Swarm. Okay. Another Plains, which is nice. So, Playful Pet Momo. Coming down. Okay. We'll swing here for now. Down to 7, we go up to 14. We'll use Nurturing Pixie to bounce away. You know what? We'll bounce away Momo here. This time we'll Scry, so we can fix our next draws. 2 Healer's Hawks, which are kind of nice, but they don't really help us that much here. We need to actually start putting out some more stuff. So Playful Pet Momo coming down again. And Friendly Flyer Momo. Okay. We'll have to hold on to Aang for a little bit longer. Serpent of the Pass. Serpent of the Pass. Okay. Opponent is ready for an assault here, and they do swing. Right now, 12. 17 damage. We can sponge 1 hit.
As long as you can do basic math, you'll be fine.
Let's block Grand. Go to 3. Momo goes. And let's see. What do we want here? We'll Scry. Okay. Ooh, Aven Interrupter. That actually could help us out here a bit. Serpent of the Pass. Okay. And Serpent of the Pass. Last card. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So with that, we just barely scraped by. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, we did it. Sure, opponent, you can play it again, but they're flying anyway above you. The skies are clear, and we take the victory against one of the other sweet budget decks in the format, which is It Lessons? But we got him, everybody. Victory goes to us. Whew, that was way too close. But we did it. We did it. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we annoy our opponent with our airbending shenanigans? Well, looks like we have both Momos in hand here. We have a little bit of pump here with Duty Beyond Death, and we actually have Aang in our hand. Might be a little slow, but if we can just start bouncing stuff back and forth, maybe we have a shot here of messing with our opponent. All right, so with that, we'll play first Momo, Friendly Flyer. All right, opponent, what do you got? Seam Rip. Aw, opponent. Alright, well, looks like we're going to start losing our Momos there. That's okay, we still have options with us here. We'll play Momo Playful Pet. There's no way our opponent has more Seam Rips, do they?
A few moments later.
Apparently they do. Okay, it's going to be one of those matches. Alright, so with that, we'll scry 2. So at the very least here, we can kind of set ourselves up. Okay, let's try this again. Momo Playful Pet. Yet again. Opponent, there's surely no way you have that much removal against us, but we'll see what they got. Spellbook Vendor. Huh, okay. Not a card I've actually seen used at all in ranked, so I don't know where this is going to go, but alright, I guess we'll find out in a bit.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Okay, opponents. Sorcerer Roll is added. We will Sun Pearl Kirin. Bouncing away our own Momo. We get now the pump. Alright, now we actually have somewhat of a decent card here. So with that, let's see. Do we actually want to do Aang right now? I guess so. Let's bounce away their Spellbook Vendor, so they get no value from that. Down to 17, opponent. Do they recast their Spellbook Vendor, or do they have something else in hand? Oh, they do. Okay, well, this is fine. We kind of want this to happen, because we're trying to stall out our opponent as much as possible here. Okay, they have 2 cards. They have actually 4 cards in hand. We have 3. They know we have Momo again. So, how do we want to do this here? I think first off we'll swing. Opponent, what do you have? Feather of Flight. Okay. What will they do? Do they block Aang? Okay, so if Aang goes bye-bye, I mean, we could do this also, but... Well, actually, there's not really much of a reason to do that. They take the hit. We will play Momo Playful Pet again. We'll now play Nurturing Pixie. We will bounce away Sun Pearl Kirin. And we'll pass here. Opponent's at 14. We still haven't taken a hit yet, so I guess this works out. Another Plains for our opponents. Wonderweave Aerialist. Okay. Flying if it's modified. Veteran Survivor. Okay. Opponent looking to tap some stuff for some value. While it's tempting to use some Pearl Kira now, we're actually going to wait for a bit. I don't know what else our opponent has, but... Oh, here we go. Yes, we got the Airbending and Air Temple. That actually is a good hit for us. But we're going to wait for a smidge. I need to know what else our opponent has, shenanigans-wise here. But if they have nothing, we can Sun Pearl Kira and stuff and start getting more value off of Momo. Let's swing. Okay, Feather of Flight. Alright. So that means they'll draw a card. They gain a little bit more power there. So what do they try to hit? Is it the Pixie? Or is it going to try to take out Momo? Alright. Well, I think in that case then, we will just go for the guaranteed hit. Bounce away the Pixie. Down to 13. Nurturing Pixie comes back. We will bounce away Sun Pearl Kirin. Get a little bit of pump there with the Pixie. So, again, the game plan is not really to just straight out just get super aggro. We're just trying to outgrind our opponent here little by little. And as you can see right here, eventually it does put a little bit more pressure on their resources because our opponent will eventually run out of cards, but we can keep bouncing back our cards for more and more value. Or at least I hope we can make this work. Opponent is pumping the Wonder Weave. One more card in hand, opponent. Do they swing? They do. Okay, so with that, I think we'll just take the hit for here. Okay. That means they will exile a card, which is fine. And going bye-bye is not a huge deal for us. Last card, opponent. Are you going to use it? Okay, so it is Veteran Survivor. All right. Well, this provides us with a little bit of insight now. So we will use Sun Pearl Kirin, bounce back Momo. Let's scry 2 to figure out what the heck is going on. Can we get... Okay. Nothing real huge there, but I guess bouncing Pixies back and forth might be our game plan here. So with that, nurturing Pixie. Let's bounce back the Kirin. Alright, we'll play Momo again. And we'll just wait from here. No attacks yet. Okay, most helpful Weaver from Omen Paths. Okay, they put it on the Spider. Okay, so here comes the swings. Alright. But this is actually what we want. Okay, so just block here. And we will block here. Alright. Sun Pearl Kirin doing its thing. Bouncing away Momo. Alright, this time we'll put a counter on top of the Pixie. So sponge a hit. We take out one creature though, which is good. We'll eat away a card there with the other Veteran Survivor, but that's not a huge deal. Okay. Ooh, hang again. Alright. Beautiful. Okay, so what do we want to do here? What are we bouncing? Actually... Oh wait, I forgot. I'm silly. So this is actually good for us in terms of just bouncing away certain things, such as we can get rid of the Spider here if we want to. Or I guess we can get rid of Wonder Weave. So let's just get rid of that. Oh, opponents already? I guess they did get annoyed with our airbending shenanigans. All right. Hey, again, nothing super flashy, but if you're looking to message your opponent, this is a nice, easy way to do it. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. Can we annoy our opponent with the power of airbending? Well, let's see here. We only have Momo in hand. We have a little bit of protection with spot removal. Let's keep. If our opponent is going to try to hit us with creatures... Let's go change the talent again. Okay, well... It's going to be one of these matches, so... Plains. I mean, Sword Changer's Talent is still one of the best cards in the format. So I guess we can't really say much about that. But we do have ways of bouncing it around. The Lion, the Parched. Oh, from... What the... Omen Paths? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Swing here. And pass. Storm Chaser's Talent again. Okay. They're getting their pump going. And another token. Boomerang Basics. Alright, well, I guess we're going to start bouncing stuff back and forth. But, if they cast it again, then we do have an option here to handle this. Okay, so, Talent again. Everything gets pumped. Not good. Okay, so from here, we can destroy at least a creature. So we'll destroy the Lion. Okay. Got rid of one. Just one creature. Okay, so for now, we'll bring in Aang. We don't want to keep bouncing our stuff for value, so we'll just start getting rid of the tokens little by little. Okay. Airbend away. Down to 17. So at least now we can get rid of the tokens bit by bit. Which forces our opponent to have to... cast a bit more here. Oh, they are attacking. Okay. Well, I'm going to block with Aang, even though I know he's going to die. Yep. Here's the opt. Okay. Just trade. I don't want this to actually defeat Aang. If we're going to at least lose him, at least let's trade. At least I hope we will. So it is a trade. Phew. Okay. Not ideal, but at least it works for now. Alright, another Plains, which is fine. We're just swinging with Momo. Getting our little beats in while we can. Okay, so they do swing. Alright, so with that, airbend away the token. That allows us to draw a card. Nice. So the Lion will swing. Accumulate Wisdom, okay. He gets a little pump. Down to 10. Okay. Turns into an island. Okay, so we're just going to have to stay the course. Not much else we can really do. Ooh, Wan Shi Tong. Okay, so for this, we will Aven Interrupter. Which gives Momo a little bit of pump. Pop that away for now, so that's gone. Ooh, Clock's ticking, opponents. We're currently at 10 right now, and they're at 14. They have a small edge against us. Not a huge one, but it is one. We're just hoping that they run out of gas. But being blue means they usually don't run out of gas. Or at least they run out of power. Okay, they can't cast Wan Shitan if they want to. Okay, they do not. Okay, well, this is actually now in our favor. So this is actually good. Beautiful for us. So we can destroy the creature. The lion says bye-bye. Okay, that's actually great now. So with that, we will swing here, down to 11. We will bounce back our Aven Interrupter. Alright. And with that, we now have him reset for the next casting. Okay, even though our opponent has a full hand here, we're still holding our own just fine. We've managed to close the gap just enough. Okay, they just opt. Okay, opponents. Nothing. Okay, so pass here. Okay, beautiful. We have another Aven Interrupter. Oh, that's just fantastic for us. So I think we can now get a little bit more aggressive here and just start trying to see if we can win here and now. Come on, opponent. Cast a spell. I know you want to cast a spell. Serpent of the Past. Okay, for sure we have to get that out of the way. If our opponent has a counter spell, so be it. And that gets plotted, so that means that is out of the way for us. Do that, opponents. Yeah, I guess we'll just do it now then. Just let it go. Down to 9. So in that case then, Momo comes back. We'll just go from there. So, we're a little vulnerable right now because Wan Shitan can come in. Serpent of the Past does its thing. Okay, it's fine. But we still have plenty of options to airbend it anyway. If our opponent does tap out, that actually does work in our favor. Nothing else about it? Okay. Okay, Momo Playful Pet. So for this, we will bring in Aang. Okay, so for this, Serpent's Pass. Okay, airbend away. Momo Playful Pet. Eddie Merc Crab. Okay. Well, that means they tap away both of our creatures. Wow, okay. So our opponent is also trying to do their own tempo shenanigans. And Serpent of the Past comes back. Abandoned Attachment. Okay, so game plan now looks like we just need to sponge a hit. Maybe we have a shot here on the next turn. Maybe. Opponent swings and swings. So for here, we block just one with Momo Playful Pet. Sadly, Momo goes bye-bye, but his ability does trigger off. So with that, we will scry 2. See what we get. Okay, enter the avatar state. Storm Chaser's talent number 3. Okay, so how do we want to do this here? Is there a way out of this? I think we swing here. Opponent does jump block. Okay. Down to 7. And then from here, Nurturing Pixie. Get a little bit of pump there. We'll bounce away Aang. We can use him for airbending next turn. So we have chump blockers set to go. Aven Interrupter is capable of doing stuff. Soul Stone Sanctuary, okay. Alright, so all comes down to this now. Eddie Merc Crab again. So with that, actually, do we airbend it now? Oh wait, no. Aven Interrupter. Do you have a counterspell, opponents? Oh, they do. Oh no! Okay, so that means we lose. Dang.
Well, this stinks.
Well, our opponent has managed to outtempo us and lost there. Okay, well, we came close, everybody, to stabilizing there, but unfortunately, we just couldn't deal with the bigger creatures, which is one of the weaknesses of the deck. But we'll talk about that in the wrap-up. And there you have it, everybody. So that was Airbend and Annoy for you for the standard format. And you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Would you play this deck in any way, shape, or form? To be honest with you, I feel like maybe I need to redo the ratio a bit. There have been many moments where, although we are a creature-heavy deck, we ended up kind of getting random cards such as, I know we only have 2 copies of Enter the Avatar State. We had a whole playset of Duty Beyond Death, but we didn't really get a chance to use them to their full potential. They just kind of kept drawing into our hand when we didn't need them. And the other major thing to be aware of is, In this format right now, there are quite a few other cards that are not only flashier, but also bigger and also get cheap discounts because of other ways you can build those decks. As you kind of saw from our footage, the mono blue decks that were out-tempoing us almost overran us. So be aware of that, of course, if you do want to play this. We may be small, but our biggest advantage, of course, is we are evasive and we can just keep bouncing back and things forth. But we might have to change the ratio a little bit. Or I might even dare say, maybe we might need to splash into a different color, like black if you want to bounce back enchantments, or maybe even blue if you want to just maintain the flying part of your deck. But we're going to save that, of course, for a future deck tech. Stick around for that if you do like what this deck is trying to do, and maybe you do have some extra rares or mythics you would like to invest in the deck. If you've made it this far into the video, please give a shout out below in the comments because you are my true fiery friends. And because of that, I'll be more than happy to show you how you can take this deck to the next level. Now, in terms of upgrades to the deck, here's what I'd recommend for you to get more value out of it. We're going to be placing our Healer's Hawk now with Ruin Lurker Bat. Granted, of course, it's only still an uncommon as opposed to a common, but again, this does provide us a little extra value in the 1-drop slot. This actually is a slot you can fix with other things if you don't mind having a non-flyer in this slot. Otherwise, for the main part of the deck, not much else realistically changes. You pretty much just want to keep the core of everything as is. For your land base, of course, we'll be adding in 2 copies of Soulstone Sanctuary, so this becomes a land that's a 3/3 with all creature types and it has vigilance. Keep in mind, of course, it's still land, but also will stay both a creature and a land once you activate it in full. And a single copy of the Fountain Port will be added in as well. We'll have some moments where we will have some tokens on the field, or we can just utilize this as just general catch-all value at any point in the game. As far as your upgrades to the sideboard are concerned, we'll now be throwing in Dawn's Truce, so this will be your general protection spell, getting rid of healing magic and instead providing you with a much more consistent way of protecting the entire board. We'll cut out one of the Dewdrop Cures to make room for some other cards here, so instead we'll now be throwing in Authority of the Consuls. This will slow down a lot of players out there, especially aggro decks, with your mono white package as you start building up more value, and you can sponge more hits as you again plan out the rest of your game plan. And with that all out of the way, here are my final thoughts that I want to give you on this deck. If you're a fan of evasive creatures, if you're a fan of annoying opponents with tempo play, and if you're a fan of a deck that is capable of reutilizing its creatures over and over again for plenty of extra value, then I would definitely say, give this deck a try. And I assure you, once you start messing with your opponent utilizing either Momo, Aang, or Appa, you're going to have a lot of fun doing so, and you'll be very surprised at how you can pull it off on today's budget. And when you manage to airbend their best spell at the right moment to score your win, I assure you, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.